Hello, I'm Dale Beatron. I haven't had a chance due to weather and work and travel to get out to the range much and do a new video of unique shooting lately, so I thought I would take the chance and run out today. While the weather wasn't ideal, it wasn't too bad. It was about 0 to 15 miles an hour, but mostly calm, and it was a decent day. It's about 60 degrees roughly, and it was sunny to partly cloudy. So the weather was not bad, and as the video that I'm showing at this point kind of shows, I set up my usual rig. I had the Anschutz 1762 and my CZ 457 MTR, my what I call my number one of the two. One is a number one is number two, just designated by time purchase, not by any particular difference in the way they shoot. The Anschutz is totally stock except for the addition of a Sinclair bag rider in the front. The CZ is totally stock except for the changing of the trigger spring in the particular rifle to get it down to about an 8-ounce trigger pull, and the addition of a Sinclair bag rider to make it kind of comparable with the rest. I'm shooting off a Bald Eagle, Grizzly's Bald Eagle rest with a standard kind of 3-inch bag rider kind of bag. And for the rear, I'm using a Protector number 13 bag sitting on a custom bag rider that allows the cast off in the stock be removed in terms of shooting. So it comes straight back, straight forward. There's no movement side to side from the cast off in the stock. The ammo today I chose to shoot was SK Rifle Match or Pistol Match Special. SK Pistol Match Special, Norma Tac-22, and Lapua Long Range. I set up at 50 yards and shot off the bench, as you can see, and we kind of took it from there. In the particular case, I started off shooting the CZ and shot the 5 groups of Norma Tac-22, then the SK Pistol Match Special, and Lapua Long Range. In each case, when shooting the ammo, I shot 10 rounds to kind of follow and center it, get things kind of oriented towards the center of the target a little bit before I moved on. I did move some of them in terms of adjusting the scope on occasion, but not for the most part for most of it. So it's not so much where they hit, it's the size of the groups that we're looking at. In terms of the process, I've got the shooting video at the end if you want to watch it. I will speed it up about 6 times, otherwise it gets kind of lengthy and boring for most people. I've got the Fowlers and or that kind of thing in there if you want to see it as well, but I don't know that that's of particular interest to anyone. When we compared the shooting with of groups with Norma Tac-22, you can see that the groups ranged from one had a bizarre shot that was 1.2 inches without it. That particular group would have been 0.32 inches, but 0.76, 0.56, 0.57, and what's labeled group 6, which is really group 5, 0.53. So that gave us an overall average if you included the wild shot, and it wasn't anything I did, and it wasn't anything. I assume it's the ammo. There would have been 0.72, and without that flyer, it would have been 0.55. The Anschutz in shooting that same ammunition, the groups were 0.77, 0.50, 0.67, 0.23, 0.63, for an overall average of 0.56 inches. In shooting the Pistol Match Special, the CZ had groups of 0.48, 0.48, 0.43, 0.49, 0.77 for an average of 0.53 inches. The Anschutz had groups that were 0.52, 0.47, 0.41, 0.50, 0.51 for an overall average of 0.48. Lapua Long Range, the CZ had groups of 0.54, 0.35, 0.52, 0.31, 0.45 for an average of 0.43. The Anschutz, you'll see 2 rows of 5 here, and that's because I forgot to turn the camera on for the first shot of 5 across, and I didn't want anyone to think that I had not done so, so I turned the camera back on and shot a second set of 5, but it essentially comes out the same. The first 5 groups with the ante were 0.16, 0.20, 0.43, 0.33, 0.31 for an overall average of 0.29. The second set of 5 with the ante was 0.55, 0.25, 0.31, 0.48, 0.22 for an overall average of 0.36. So we can see that essentially across all ammo types, the ante does better, and as the ammo becomes more professional, stronger, whatever you want to use the term, the ante increases in terms of its performance much more so than does the CZ. So if I'm going to be shooting Norma Tac-22 or other similar ammunitions, or even SK Pistol Match Special, I'm probably not going to notice much of a difference. When I move up to something that's much more consistent in terms of performance, such as the Lapua Long Range, that's where I'm going to start to notice the difference between the 2 rifles and the performance of their scores. So in this particular case, it's quite clear to me that ammo matters, and that as you increase in terms of the consistency of the ammunition, the consistency of the rifles or performance of the rifles also appears to increase. This is consistent with what the other 2 comparisons looked at and found when they were shooting the ARA targets. So this is not inconsistent with the previous findings that we found or that were noted in parts 1 and part 2. Certainly, if there's any questions, feel free to ask. If there's any concerns, send me a note. Otherwise, may all your shooting be X's, and have a great day.